This is the Fanxin HuDong, and it might be one of the most impressive cubes I have ever tried. In terms of sheer performance, this is genuinely incredible, with some of the smoothest and most reliable turning of any 3x3. However, with a similar price to the Tornado version 4 or WRM version 10, the actual hardware is somewhat disappointing. With that being said, what makes this cube so special? How is the actual performance? And most importantly, should you buy it? Well, there are 5 things that I really like about this cube and 3 that I don't, but let's begin with the good features. Firstly, I am impressed with the ball core on the HuDong, as it has both corner to core and edge to core magnets. This is combined with a nice level of tactility, which is provided by the normal magnets on the walls of each piece. And this brings me on to the second thing that I like, which is that the stability on this 3x3 is incredible. My initial opinions of this cube when I first got it was that it was very flexible during turning, considerably more so than any other 3x3 that I have tested recently. However, then I noticed how stable it was despite this. So it is clear that Fanxin have taken a large amount of time to perfect the magnets within the HuDong so that they flawlessly attract and repel to maintain a high level of control over each turn. And whilst good stability isn't rare on modern cubes, it is rare that they are so flexible whilst being incredibly stable. And this allows you to have confidence over solves, where you know that even if you have to push a little bit harder than usual, the cube will not prevent that from happening by locking up or catching. Therefore, I have noticed much smoother overall turning, which contributes to considerably better times. However, this brings me on to something which I do not like about the HuDong, and that is that there isn't a magnet adjustment system which would allow you to give yourself more stability if you are someone who prefers a cube to not be as flexible as this one is. And as I mentioned earlier, Fanxin have priced this 3x3 in the mid-ranged market, which means that I am naturally going to be comparing it to cubes like the Tornado, which does offer a great system to change magnet strengths. Regardless of this, I personally think that they have done a great job with the stock setup, in that the stability is really good, which means the majority of people wouldn't actually need to adjust the magnets, but it would still be a nice thing to have. Moving on now to the third thing that I like, and that is that the UV coating is some of the highest quality I have tried on any 3x3. I know that a small number of people do not like UV coating on cubes because it makes them slip up more than it prevents it. However, on the HuDong, they have done a great job in ensuring it is actually preventing mistakes because of how high quality it is. But if you're still not a fan of this texture, then they do offer a non-UV version which would suit you better. And just before we move on to the second bad thing about this cube, only 10% of the people watching are subscribed. So if you don't want to miss out on more cubing videos like this, make sure to subscribe down below. But back to it, and the tensioning system on the HuDong feels like it would have been up to standard 5 years ago. However, nowadays this just isn't really good, especially for a cube of this price. Having a screw still visible in a mid-range 3x3 is something that I thought we had left in the past, as even companies like Moyu have now moved on, with them being one of the last to do so. But Fanxin are clearly behind everyone else and haven't yet caught on to a fully custom dual adjustment system. But considering this is one of their first proper 3x3 releases, I'll let them off because of how good the performance is. But just before we go on to that remarkable performance, if you want to buy this cube or plenty more, then make sure to check out speedcubeshop.com with the link in the description. You can use discount code UKCuber for 5% off your next order. But back to it, and now we will look at the performance, which is the fourth thing I like about this cube. And that is because the HuDong is excellent when it comes to solves. The speed of this 3x3 combined with the stability and flexibility I mentioned earlier result in one of the smoothest and most controllable cubes I have tried in a long time, even when going up against the really expensive 3x3s. But what makes the HuDong that little bit better is the corner cutting, which is the fifth and final thing that I really like about it. And whilst I can't tell how much of an impact the circular centerpieces actually have on this, it is clear that they do have some effect in the extremely high performing corner cutting. Now, other cubes do have all of the same features which make the HuDong great, but it is so rare that you find a 3x3 which combines them into an effortless turning experience like what Fanxin have managed here. Finally though, it is important to look at the third thing that I do not like about this cube, and that is the actual value for money. Now, if you're someone who buys lots of cubes, then definitely buy this one right away because it is excellent. However, for everyone else, considering the tensioning system is mediocre and there is no magnet adjustment, I would maybe opt for something that can be customized to ensure that you don't buy something that doesn't suit your style. Regardless, this is the first version of the HuDong, and I'm sure it will have many upgrades to come in the future. Hopefully with those versions they'll take into account the feedback cubers are giving as they could genuinely rival some of the best brands with this line of cubes. If you have tried this 3x3, let me know what you think about it in the comments. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.